Welcome to the Sales Lead Dog Podcast, hosted by CRM technology and sales process expert Christopher Smith, talking with sales leaders that have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Listen to find out how the best of the best achieve success with their team and CRM technology. And remember, unless you are the lead dog, the view never changes.
Welcome to Sales Lead Dog. On today's episode, I have joining me Jonathan Shapiro of Abacus Group. Jonathan is the Chief Revenue Officer for Abacus Group. Jonathan, welcome to Sales Lead Dog.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me. I'm looking forward to a good conversation.
Good deal. Tell me a little bit about Abacus Group.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, Abacus Group is an IT managed service and cybersecurity consulting firm, and we're based in New York City. The company was originally founded in San Francisco, and we provide full IT managed service, cybersecurity consulting, infrastructure as a service, and outsourcing support on the technology side to alternative asset managers. So primarily hedge funds, private equity, venture capital. We have a slight sliver of our business that sits outside of the financial services vertical, but that is our specialty, and that's where we've grown over the years. So that's where we play.
You guys are in the right city for that.
That's right. I would say
Starting in
so.
San Francisco, now you're in New York City.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge you guys are facing in the business right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. We were founded in 2008, and we were an offshoot from another large managed service organization. Our growth, basically from 2008 until about 2 years ago was, 90 to 95% organic, which is a great story, right? I mean,
Right.
word of mouth, great service, great coverage, clients loved us, sang our praises, et cetera. But that only takes you so far, right? So our biggest challenge was, basically coming up with an institutional caliber go-to-market plan to get us to the next point. And that was when I came into the organization about 14, 15 months ago. Our owners brought me in to do that job, and we've had a lot of success building out a full institutional caliber go-to-market strategy, and we've been executing on that. And it's certainly a challenge, but we're very comfortable where we are at this point.
Yeah. That gives us something good to talk about, right?
Right, for sure.
So looking back over your career, what are the three things that have really driven your success?
Yep. It's a great question. I'd say, the first thing is really being an active listener. I think that, too many times in conversations or people that I've worked with or worked for over the years, they're sitting in a position where they're looking to get ready to say the next thing as opposed to listening to what the person across the table is saying. And that's really dictated a lot of what I've been able to do and being informed and making sure that the right messages are being delivered on the back of the conversations that I'm having. So it's something that I really try to coach to folks that work for me and folks that are, work alongside me. I'd say the second thing is just, being a self-starter, my motor, right? I think it's, I've always known that I've wanted to be someone that was going to lead teams, that was going to lead growth and be very strategic around that. And there was no one really that ever pushed me. I just sort of pushed myself. I didn't have a degree in business. I didn't have, there's no such thing as a degree in sales, right? But I just basically took it upon myself to get going, and I knew that I wanted to get into this spot. So really kind of that motor was another thing. And then the other thing is just my overall collaborative nature. Being someone that really enjoys working with people, hearing what their ideas are, being able to share sort of my views, kind of taking that all together to create something really interesting and package it together and deliver a message. Collaboration is huge, and that's something that I really push when dealing with the teams that report into me. You certainly, you're responsible for your own productivity, but collaboration only makes you stronger.
Yeah, these days, I don't think there's any such thing as a simple sale anymore. And the only way you succeed in that environment is through collaboration. You can't do it alone.
100%. Yep, I completely agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a situation where, if you put too much pressure on yourself, it's going to lead you to press. It's like, like a baseball player that's in a slump, and they're trying to
Yeah.
figure out how they're going to get back on track. Once you take advice, relax a little bit and start figuring out what's going wrong, you're going to get back on track. That's the same thing with sales. If you get too inside your head, you're gonna have a tough time succeeding.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to lean on other people
That's
and
right.
be willing
Right.
to ask for help.
For sure.
Yeah. Did you want to be in sales when you were going through college or just, early part of your career?
Yeah, it's a good question. No, I didn't. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. And I was always very interested in that. My half brother is a lawyer, and just kind of having conversation with him about that was always very interesting to me. And then when I got out of college, I got a job in finance and um, back office operations, kind of learning how the actually food was cooked as opposed to serving it, and had a tremendous experience really learning about financial services, particularly within the kind of confines of a large broker dealer. And I had the opportunity after that to join Goldman Sachs in their prime brokerage business, which was a growing business at that time, and originally was in client relationship management. So spent a lot of time with clients, getting an understanding of what they needed and how we could work with them as a capital markets partner at a major investment bank. And then I was tapped on the shoulder internally to kind of take more of a kind of front-focused relationship management role, which would eventually make me very interested in getting into sales. And once that happened, I never looked back. It was something that I felt that I was good at. I had an understanding of how to make things move forward, and it was very exciting, and it took me out of my comfort zone a little bit. It wasn't a situation where, I felt like I was this alpha that really wanted to get out there and bang the drum. It was more of a situation where I knew I wanted to collaborate and be consultative and be able to kind of take value and be able to present it. And over time, that's been what drove me to be successful. And I learned on the fly, and learned from people that I respected, and then I never looked back. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much that you said there that I think is valuable that, you know, learning from people you respect, that that's one that to me, really hits with me emotionally just because I've had those mentors in my life that, I mean, when you find those people, the knowledge that they can impart to you is just so invaluable.
100%.
It's like saves you so much pain.
Yeah, it does. And it also puts you in a situation where, you could kind of take some of those tools and tips that you learned and be able to kind of have them mold your style and also impart that onto folks that work with you and for you over the years. Um, the leaders that I got in line behind are still people that I'm very close with, and that's a testament to them. Through the work that I did with them, I learned exactly what was going to motivate me and help me move forward, and through folks that were the other side, learned about things that I did not want to do. That helped craft my style.
Yeah. What was the hardest thing for you to learn and really embrace in those early years in sales? And how did you break through that block?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think you know understanding the importance of time and giving people their time to deliver what it is that's important to them, and take a step back and really be honest and forthright around, if there's a fit and if there's a solution that we're able to provide that gives them what they need. Um, you know, and obviously understanding and learning what the cadence of a deal is, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's never as simple as I have this. Well, this is how much I can pay for it. Then it matches and you move on. It becomes more of a situation around, how do you explain value? How do you understand why someone is going to make a purchasing decision? And what are the steps that takes you to get to the end of the road, right?
Yep.
Um, that's something that I have a lot of respect for people that get into sales that over the years that I've kind of helped them out with is really understanding how you're able to establish, a connectivity with the buyer and then create a parallel track to close, right? And I think
Right.
that that's not something that comes naturally, and it took me a while to get very good at it. But with anything, it takes a lot of hard work and focus, and um, I think that I learned the right way, but I learned through doing, and I learned through people that I worked for that were very, very good teachers, and that's a good thing. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's a great combo. That's a killer
Yeah.
combo.
Yep.
Um, what, when they came to you and said, Jonathan, hey, we'd like you to consider a leadership role. What was it about that role or that opportunity that made you say, yes, I want to do that?
Yeah. So the way that I got into sales leadership, you know, I made a move out of, working in sell side, in capital markets, and I made a decision a few years after the financial crisis in 2008 that, with regulation and things that were going on, you know, in finance and in banking, it just wasn't as fun anymore. There was a lot of people were highly stressed. It wasn't exciting. It was just very, very laborious. And so I kind of had the opportunity to either stay in that world or move into software sales. And so I did that, and it was a great move for me. But while I was there, there was an old client of mine that reached out to me, and he invested in a company that was looking for someone to lead sales and relationship management. And they originally were looking at people that had been in the business longer, people that had had more experience in leadership, and they couldn't find the right guy. And so this individual spoke up on my behalf and then came to me and said, "Listen, I really think you should go and do this." And I didn't even really think about it. I just dove in. I knew that it was something that I wanted to do eventually. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer for me to get there,
Mhm.
but when given this opportunity, I just said, "Hey, let's do it. Let's get going and see how everything materializes." And it was the best move I ever made. I mean,
Yeah.
the lessons that I learned in that role have propelled my leadership style and the success I've had in leadership going forward. Um, so yeah, it was a scary choice at first,
Yeah.
but I didn't think twice about it. I just dove right in.
I think we learned the most from the mistakes. I hear this a lot on the podcast. We all learned the most from our mistakes. What were some of the mistakes you made in that first leadership role that really, as you said, really developed your leadership style?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest mistake that I made was try to take on a little bit more responsibility than I should as a leader as opposed to an operator, right? I mean, I think, when you're leading teams, you want to empower the individuals that are contributing to your success to succeed. And taking a step back and being able to kind of help them understand how they're going to succeed and how they're going to go about facing the challenges they're going to face are things that are critical for a good strong leader. Um, you know, but it took me a little while to learn that too. I mean, I had to understand that there's a very big difference between being on the field, the quota-carrying salesperson, and being a sales leader that's responsible for driving growth. So it was a little bit of a kind of a steep learning cycle for me. But once I got a hold of that, figured out what I needed to do in order to get things moving in the right direction, um, it caught on pretty quickly.
Yeah. Was it hard to get your team aligned in the direction you needed them to go?
It wasn't, and the reason that it wasn't, and again, this is the way that I've done it from that point forward, which is I surrounded myself with people that worked with me or supported me right away. So one of the big things that I kind of asked for when I came on board to this particular company was say, look, you're having me come in and run sales and relationship management. I'll evaluate the team and I'm going to rate people effectively, but I want to be able to bring in some of my own people.
Mhm.
And the CEO of the company totally agreed and was actually excited about that. And I was able to keep a couple of people that had some talent. One of them I'm still very much in touch with and has had a very good, strong career on the back of a lot of the work that I did with her. But I brought in most of my own people, and because of that, I knew what I was getting.
Yeah.
I knew their style, I knew what they were able to do, I knew that they were going to produce, and more importantly than that, I didn't have to earn their trust. We trusted each other already, and we were able
Yeah.
to kind of get going. And that's a model that I have really replicated each step of the way. And what's great about that is you end up meeting really strong people
Yeah.
and folks that you can kind of get in your tribe, so to speak.
Yep.
But you also can kind of get something out of people that might have been kind of tossed aside. I mean,
Right.
some of the best stories that I have are success stories of people that have, been doing it for a long time that were I was told coming in you're going to get rid of this person. And I've actually, in multiple occasions, I've actually said, wait a second, I actually think this person has talent. And I've had the ability to turn them around.
Yeah.
Um, so those are things that I'm really proud of. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was, I didn't have to worry about getting people online because I just knew what I was getting, right?
Yeah.
And we were fortunate to get things moving in a rapid pace.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I found that it's even when we're consulting, coming into a firm that we're consulting with, that we look at the leadership team, it's tough to teach an old dog new tricks, when they're in their comfort zone and they um that's how they do things, and this is, they're fat, dumb, and happy, whatever. It's very hard to get them to do different things. And sometimes sweeping, cleaning the house and bringing in fresh blood is the only, especially when you're under a time crunch, which sales leadership, you're always under a time crunch.
100%.
Yeah, it's
100%.
hard to get people to change and do things the way you need them to, as quick as
Yep.
you need them to do it. Maybe over time you can get them there, but who's got
Yep.
the luxury
I
of
agree
time
with that.
anymore?
I agree with that. I think the other thing that I've done too, is I look at, so obviously, someone has to have the ability to understand the product and the services that you're selling to be able to be successful. Um, but one thing that I really do feel you can't teach is motor and is motivation. You can motivate people, but if someone is innately not a motivated person, it's very hard to get that out of them.
Yeah.
So, big thing that I've always done when evaluating talent, bringing people into an organization to sell, is just take a look at sort of what that motor is and what kind of experience they've had in the past that has shown that they have the ability to succeed. Currently I have a couple people on our team that I hired that I brought out of a completely different industry than ours. Two people that came out of, private aviation sales, right? Which
Right.
is a very, very difficult sale,
Yeah.
but they were taught right, had a really good regimented approach. And I brought them in here. They've learned what we've done, and then their success is already showing. So a lot of times you just want to find the people that have the right approach, and then you teach them product, and then they're able to
Yeah.
get up and go. Yeah.
No, I say that all the time. Like, you can't teach smart, you can't teach
Right.
motor,
Yeah.
and it's like, if I get someone who's smart, who's motivated, who's got a good motor, I can teach them whatever I need them to do.
100%.
And you just put them in the right direction, you prepare them, you turn them loose.
Yep. Exactly. And then, and it's rewarding for them too, because they go in, they pick up something new, a whole new
Yeah.
industry, and they're able to, they're able to ring the register and they feel good about themselves. Um, so that's the biggest thing for me is you can teach product, but you can't teach motor, you can't teach
No,
intelligence,
you can't.
you can't teach consultative nature. It's either in you or it's not. You could unlock it in people that it's there,
Right.
but for people where it's not, you just have to kind of cut bait and move on.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, 100% agree with that. How do you leverage failure as one of your tools as a leader?
Yeah, I think that you have to recognize it. You have to embrace it, but you can't let it get too contagious, right? I think in any growth type of situation or any business, there's going to be competition and you're not going to win all the time, right? I mean, to use, you look at a sports analogy again, right? The best hitters in baseball are 300 hitters, right? Now I'm saying
Yeah.
I want to have a better batting average than that in sales,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying that, you have to take the lessons from that failure. Was it a product gap? Was it an approach type of thing? Was it were you just outsold? Were you out hustled? Like all of these things you kind of have to do. But one thing that I will say around failure is, I'm a metrics guy, and it's really important to take a look at real data to substantiate what's going on. And so, we really work hard to, and again, this was part of implementing a real kind of institutional caliber sales process, which didn't exist here. We do win-loss analysis. We do trend analysis on losses and commonalities and things that are driving us to to not to not win in certain occasions. And we use that in the ability to pivot. And we've had the ability to do that. We've had a situation about 4 or 5 months ago where there was a competitor that we had lost a couple of deals to, and we just felt that we were a better platform. And through some of that analysis, we unlocked a couple of little things that if we tweaked on our messaging, that it was going to change. And then
Yeah.
we've had numerous face-offs with them over the past few months, and we've won each time. So again, it's really kind of taking a step back and understanding how you can use that failure to inform change in your approach and then put that into action.
Yeah, I know. I love that you've got that feedback loop because not only you're making it better when you're going to this like competitor, you're making it against you're better now whoever you're competing against, you know. We
That's right.
can't rest on our laurels. We always have to be looking back at where, like you're saying, what are these little things that we can tweak? Sometimes those little things can have a huge impact.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yep.
getting over a cold and I just sometimes just that cough just comes out of me. Um, what is your favorite thing about being a sales leader?
Just yeah, I said collaboration before,
Yeah,
but I'd say that's what it is, right? I mean, I think, having the ability to lead a go-to-market team that involves a lot of, you know, outward facing tactics and a high level of engagement is great. I mean, I think, you know, to me, being the head of a team is great, but being able to effectively mold future leaders is something that's a big deal for me. I've always said this, and I think some people say this and mean it, and I actually do, which is, if I'm training people and leading people that are eventually going to exceed how far I've come in my career, I would feel amazing about that,
yeah.
right? So I think the thing that really kind of drives me is being able to unlock that potential in others. And listen, leadership isn't for everybody, right? I mean,
Right.
some people
It's
are very
not.
comfortable, selling. They want to be a salesperson. That's what they want to do. They don't want to deal with the bureaucracy and the headaches and all that. And that makes a lot of sense. Um, I loved that. I loved being able to check in, work hard, sell, make money, and check out. But I wanted more than that, and I think that was why leadership was the next best step for me. And it's been an amazing experience, and it's going to continue to be. I'm really really happy to be doing what I'm doing.
What role does collaboration play in goal setting for your team?
Yeah, I think it's a collection of taking a look at hard data and kind of figuring out market dynamics that are going to dictate goals, right? But it's also important because you need to understand what your team is feeling and where they feel they could lean in to be successful, and understanding if you think they're being fair to themselves, or if they're not being fair enough to themselves to understand the capabilities that they have if they really try to unlock them. So when I'm looking at people's goals for a fiscal cycle, um it comes with several conversations so that I can understand exactly how people feel. And again, I look at I look at past performance as well to help dictate that.
Yep.
But I think that you have to have a conversation, multiple conversations, to kind of get a sense of where someone's at before setting out their goals. And that's not just quota. I mean, it's soft goals as well around,
Mhm.
personal development
Yep.
and career growth. So um, it's important. You got to understand where people are at. If you're a manager if you just say, okay, here's your goals and you move on. You're a leader if you understand what makes people motivated and how you can kind of unlock the best performance that you can out of them. And so having those conversations is important to get people in the right mindset and the right ability to perform.
When you have someone who maybe is blocked or underperforming a bit, what's your strategy, or do you have an approach that you like to leverage to help them break through?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. I mean, the first thing is getting people out of their comfort zone. I think is something that and doing it by example, right? So if someone is having a problem getting there, I have no problem stepping back on the field or leading by example when the time is right. That was a little bit easier when you're a sales manager as opposed to an executive level because you're dealing with a lot of different things. But I
Yeah.
still I still maintain the desire to do that, and I do that from time to time. Um, it's important for me, the best way to do that is to make sure that people understand that by leading by example, it's not done to browbeat them. It's so that they can actually see another way to do things and maybe take some of the things that they've observed and being able to use them. The other thing, when someone's really is really kind of scrapping and they're just trying to figure it out, it's I encourage them kind of taking a step back and taking a few days, taking a week to just kind of get out of the situation
Right.
and sort of reset, take a vacation, take a staycation, do something that or do some things in a span of a week or so that kind of make you happy, relaxed, and get you back to center. Um, I think that's really important. I mean, listen, you know, COVID taught people a lot of things about hybrid work or you can work here, you can work there. I'm a big in-office guy, and I think people that follow me are part of that. And I think kind of in-office now is a little bit different, right?
Mhm.
But sometimes if someone's scrappy, you gotta encourage them to take the time that they need to get right and support that as much as you can. And offer to be, a participant in that by saying, hey, look, I'll check in with you a couple times when you're out if you need to, or just say, hey, listen, forget about this place, forget about your pipeline, forget about meetings, just go reset, right? I think that that's something that I've always been a big proponent of, and it's worked for me in the past as well.
Yeah. That's I think sometimes we're all human, right? We all have our down cycles, and I think being able to reset, disconnect, just get a different perspective. But it's also, I imagine you're expecting then, like, hey, when you come back with a plan, right?
Oh
It's
yeah,
not just free time.
no, it's
I
not. I
want you to
mean, it's
reset, but come
yeah,
back with a plan.
it's very different when you're encouraging someone to do that because they're scrapping, right?
Right.
You want them to take a step back and get comfortable within an environment where they can relax and then come back and have a sit down with them and say, hey, look, what do you think? What was prevalent on your mind throughout that period of time? Um, and and I found that to be effective. I think, people come back, they're refreshed, they have new ideas, they have new perspective. A lot of times they take themselves out of a situation and it really gives them the ability to truly recognize it for what it is, both, major and minor, right? And I think that's why I encourage it. So 100%, you make a plan, you come back and you get ready to execute.
I I just had one of those last week where I was struggling with this problem for months and months and months. I've been trying to figure out, like, there's something's off here. I wasn't sure quite what it was. I literally just got up from my desk, walked down the hall, just walking down the hall, boom.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because I was able to disconnect, get away from the emotion just a little bit, and I was able to finally break through that problem. And I'm a huge believer in, I tell that to my team all the time, like, don't sit there spinning your wheels. Get up, move around, go get a, just get outside the office, get outside your house, wherever you're working,
Yep.
move around, and you'll get a different perspective. Your brain will start functioning in different ways. More than times, or more often than not, you'll get that clarity you're looking for.
100%. Yep. So, yeah, so I encourage that. I encourage
Yeah,
that for
that's awesome. CRM, do you
sure.
love it or do you hate it?
Yep. If harnessed correctly, I love it. I think if you're in a situation where you have a strong sales operations team and a revenue operations team that manages the platform appropriately, make sure that it's not garbage in, garbage out, that there really is the right intent with the data that's put in and that it's harnessed appropriately. I've seen it work the opposite way where it can be an absolute nightmare. But fortunately, through the situations that I've had where I've seen it work right and putting the right team together to manage that can be the key to unlocking success. I mean, what we're doing here is an example. I mean, one of the things that I did from an institutional standpoint was to hire someone. We had a sales operations team that was very um, transactional
Mhm.
and had some positive things, but nothing crazy. Um, and I decided that I really needed to hire someone in what I would call revenue operations to take a hold of our CRM and all of the almost be like my business COO.
Yeah,
And she's the best hire that I've made so far since I've been
yeah.
here. So, if harnessed right, I think they're great.
Yeah, it has to be, at least said it earlier, like you're a KPIs guy. If your CRM can't produce the KPIs you need as a leader, how do you make those adjustments? How do you find those small little levers to pull to say, hey, if we do this and this, let's try this for a while, test it and see if it works. But you got to be able to measure to test, right? And then you
Yep,
need good data. You need good people supporting that good data. It's all interconnected.
100%. And I think that if people look at it as being additive and the right type of tool to enable you to effectively sell and close, and you look at it that way, then you got to figure it out, right? I
Yeah.
mean, too many people, I think, look at it as an absolute headache, and it doesn't really need to be that. It can actually be something that makes your job a hell of a lot easier
Yeah.
if you have the right discipline.
Yeah. It's I tell people all the time, like, look, people call me like, hey, we need a new CRM. And I ask why. And they're like, oh, our sales process is a mess. We needed to fix our sales process. And CRM's a tool. It's
Yeah.
not going to fix crap process, not going to fix bad data.
Yep.
It can help you, it can enable those actions, but it's not going to do it on its own.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
that you still have to have the people, you still have to have that alignment towards your key initiatives and your goals. Otherwise, it's just, you're slowly kind of ripping yourself apart inside.
That's right. I agree. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Be interested to see what some of the other folks you meet would think about it, but I'm on the plus
Oh,
side.
it's all over,
Yeah.
but to me, when I hear people say, "Oh, I hate CRM," it's because CRM's not helping them. I don't
Right.
blame them for hating CRM because CRM's doing nothing to help them. It's just a
Right.
cost center. I say this all the time. It's 1,000-ton weight they're dragging behind them. It's not helping them be nimble. It's not helping their team sell more. Of course, you're going to hate it
That's right.
because it's not set up right.
That's right.
And it's usually not about the technology. People are like, oh, we need to switch CRMs. We need to get to a better CRM. It's a tool, so you're
Yep.
going to switch this hammer for a different hammer, bigger hammer.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
it's
yeah, we I inherited a very messy instance of our CRM. And we've done a lot of work to fix it. And now I'd say we're probably about 80% of the way there. But at that 80%, the efficiency that we've created from it has been really, really tremendous.
yeah, it's crazy. What's the 20%? There's some of the things you can share with us in the 20% that you would love to have today that you don't.
Yeah, well, it's really more around just legacy bad data and
Mhm.
information that essentially, you know, it is fixable,
Yeah.
but it's probably going to take kind of hiring a consultant to finish that last 20%.
Yeah.
We'll do, and that's fine. But it's just really about just aged, messy,
Yeah.
inaccurate data, right? I
Yep.
mean, we track, we have an addressable market that we go after, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's, as I said before, it's, really buy side alternative asset managers is our main level of focus. And that's still a wide universe, but it's important that the information about those firms that we're going out after is accurate in that
Yeah.
CRM. So um, we've found a lot of data that's not. So we've fixed a
Yeah.
lot of it, but we need to do a little bit more, and I think we'll get there.
Yeah, I see that all the time. Um, it's like you said earlier, where you're coming into a new role and you're maybe saddled with a team that they're not producing, they're not the right team, not the right mix of skills or whatever. You're oftentimes better to clean house and bring in a team that's going to work for you because you know you're going to be able to trust them, they're going to support you. It's the same way with your CRM.
Yep,
That if you've got crap data, don't be afraid to start over.
that's
And
right.
and I tell people all the time, like your goal should to have your universe of your ideal customer profile in CRM aligned to enable your sales team to help them sell.
That's
They
right.
shouldn't be struggling like, hey, I spent 4 hours trying to pull this list together.
Yeah,
That's a great sign that your CRM sucks.
yeah, that's right.
And
That's right.
it's like it's not working for you. It's that 1,000 pound weight.
That's right.
So it's just finding those things, fixing those things so the team's truly enabled. That's what it's all about. And that's what turns the haters into lovers because now it's you're helping me do my job better, easier, faster than it was
Exactly.
before.
And if people recognize it that way, then they'll realize
Yeah.
why it's important.
Oh no,
Exactly.
totally. It's like anything else, like it's a core functional system of your business. It's got to have good data, good process, good people wrapped around it.
That's right.
Yeah. Jonathan, we're at our time here on Sales Lead Dog. I really appreciate you coming on. It's been great listening to you.
My
If people want
pleasure.
to reach out, connect with you, they want to learn more, just connect up with you or maybe learn more about Abacus Group. What's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn under my profile, Jonathan Shapiro. And then, our email, our web address, just go to Google, Abacus Group. We
Yeah.
pop right up there. We're the first one up there. So if you want to learn more about the firm, you could go there. And again, obviously welcome to having conversations with anyone that wants to learn more about what we do. And this was great. I really appreciate the time.
Yeah, no, it's good. If you don't want to go into LinkedIn and try to find Jonathan, you can get it in our show notes. Go to impellercrm.com/sales lead dog, where you'll get not only this episode, but all the 100+ episodes we have of Sales Lead Dog. So be sure to subscribe so you can get all our future episodes as well as the show notes here and all of Jonathan's information and links, etc. Jonathan, thanks again for coming on Sales Lead Dog and welcome to the Sales Lead Dog Pack.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
As we end this discussion on Sales Lead Dog, be sure to subscribe to catch all our episodes. On social media, follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Watch the videos on YouTube, and you can also find our episodes on our website at impellercrm.com/Sales Lead Dog. Sales Lead Dog is supported by Impeller CRM, delivering objectively better CRM for business, guaranteed.